Dear students, welcome to this digital lecture series. The topic of today's discussion is nuclear physics, and in that we are going to see the basic properties of nucleus. We all know that an atom consists of positively charged nucleus at the center with electrons revolving around it, and a nucleus consists of positively charged particles called protons and neutrons having no charge. They are electrically neutral. Now, if there are Z number of protons inside a nucleus and N number of neutrons inside the nucleus, then their sum Z plus N, this is equal to A. It is denoted by capital A and it is called the mass number. So what does the mass number of a particular element represent? We know that the particles that are present inside the nucleus are called nucleons. Here the protons and neutrons, they are called nucleons. So mass number A is nothing but the sum of number of protons and number of neutrons. So mass number denotes the total number of nucleons that are present inside the nucleus. We all have seen that an atom is electrically neutral. It means the number of positive charges should be equal to number of negative charges. Here the number Z, which represents the number of positive charges, that is protons, is called atomic number. It also denotes the number of electrons which are present in the atom. As we have seen that neutrons and protons are present inside the nucleus and they are called nucleons. More the number of protons and neutrons, that is more the number of nucleons inside the nucleus, the size of the nucleus will be large. And if the number of nucleons is less, then the size will naturally be less or small. So the total number of nucleons present in the nucleus, it determines the size or the volume of the nucleus. And the total number of nucleons is nothing but the mass number A, capital A. So we can conclude that the volume of a nucleus is directly proportional to the mass number capital A, which is given by equation number 1. Now if we assume that the nucleus is nearly spherical in shape and capital R is its radius, we all know that the volume of a sphere is given by V is equal to 4 by 3 pi R cube. So equation 2, if nucleus is assumed to be spherical, the equation 2 will give the volume of a spherical nucleus. So if we equate the equation 1 and 2 and make the necessary arrangements, then we get that the radius of the nucleus capital R, the radius of the nucleus capital R is directly proportional to the cube root of the mass number A. R is proportional to A raised to the power 1 by 3. So to remove the proportionality sign, R is equal to R0 A raised to the power 1 by 3. Here R0 is a constant of proportionality and it is having same value, nearly same value for all the nucleus of every element. So R0 is having roughly the value 1.4 into 10 raised to the power minus 15 meter. Thus the nuclear radius is directly proportional to the cube root of mass number A. Nuclear distances are measured in a unit called Fermi, and 1 Fermi is having value 10 raised to the power minus 15 meter. If we see the atom, the radius of atom is in the range 10 raised to the power minus 10 meter, and that of a nucleus is in the range 10 raised to the power minus 15 meter. So, if we compare the size of an atom and a nucleus, then the atom is 10 raised to the power 5 times larger than that of a nucleus. Next, we see the nuclear density. We have seen that a nucleus is roughly spherical in shape, and V is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube gives the volume of a spherical nucleus. If we substitute the value of radius of a nucleus and make the arrangements, then we get the volume of a nucleus is equal to 4 by 3 pi r0 whole cube into A, which means the equation 4 shows that the volume of a nucleus is directly proportional to the mass number A. Now, the protons and neutrons which constitute the nucleus, they are roughly of the same size. They have nearly same mass, 1.67 10 raised to the power minus 27 kilogram. If we consider that the protons and the neutrons are having same mass and it is equal to small m, then the volume of a nucleus can also be given as V is equal to 4 by 3 pi r0 whole cube into A. This is the volume. And mass of the nucleus is given by A into m. Let's see how this is possible. We know that the nucleus consists of neutrons, which are n in number, and z number of protons. If you add n plus z, it gives you the mass number A. So, the total number of particles which are present in the nucleus is equal to A. And mass of each particle, we have taken that the mass of each particle, that is each proton and neutron, is nearly same and it is equal to small m. So, mass of a nucleus is equal to mass of one particle, that is small m, multiplied by total number of particles in the nucleus, that is capital A. So, mass of nucleus is equal to A into m. Now, by using a very simple relation, that density is equal to mass per unit volume, this relation, we can put the values for a nucleus and we obtain that the density of a nucleus is equal to 3m divided by 4 pi r0 cube. Now, what is seen from equation 6 is that the density of a nucleus is nearly constant. See the right hand side of equation 6, every quantity on right hand side is a constant. So, what can we imply or conclude from this particular equation 6 is that density of a nucleus is always constant. It remains same for all the nucleus of every element, and density is independent of the mass number A. Remember that we have seen that the size of a nucleus depends on the mass number A. The volume of a nucleus is proportional to the mass number A, but the density is independent of the mass number A. The density of a nucleus is having the value 1.45 into 10 raised to the power 17 kg per meter cube. And this value is nearly found for all the nucleus. Every nucleus of every element may have a density in this particular range. So in short, we can conclude that the density of nucleus is a constant quantity for every nucleus, and it is in the range 10 raised to the power 17 kilogram per meter cube. Let's see other properties of nucleus. We have seen that the nucleus consists of nucleons, and these nucleons are never stable. They rotate about an axis passing through it. This gives rise to the spin motion, and hence a nucleus is having spin angular momentum. The nucleus consists of nucleons which may also revolve around a center of mass. This gives rise to orbital motion of the nucleons, and hence the nucleus or the nucleons also have orbital angular momentum. The sum of spin angular momentum and the orbital angular momentum is called the nuclear angular momentum. So the nucleus is having nuclear angular momentum, which is denoted by capital I, and it is the sum of spin angular momentum and orbital angular momentum. The nuclear magneton, nu-n. Nuclear magneton, it is the unit for measurement of the nuclear dipole moment, and it has the value nu-n is equal to 5.05 into 10 raised to the power minus 27 joule per Tesla. Mass defect, very important concept in nuclear physics. What is mass defect? A nucleus consists of Z number of protons and N number of neutrons. And initially I have told that they are of nearly same mass, and the total mass of the nucleus, it is the sum of mass of all the protons, Z protons, and mass of all the neutrons, that is N neutrons. So the total mass of the nucleus is expected to be around A is equal to Z plus N. This is called the expected mass or the total mass of the nucleus, and it is always expected to be an integer value or a whole number. Now remember that initially in previous long year back, there was not much development in measurement of masses. So in that case, the proton mass and the neutron mass, it was taken to be nearly same and equal to 1, and hence this relation was obtained that the total mass of the nucleus A is equal to Z plus N. Now those who are students of chemistry, they know that the mass of a particular elemental nucleus, it is never an whole number. If you are taking oxygen, then it may be 16 point something. If you are taking nitrogen, it may be 14 point something. So the actual or observed or real mass of the nucleus is never an integer or a whole number. But the expected mass or the total mass, this was assumed to be an whole number or an integer, but the observed or actual mass is never an integer or a whole number. then the difference between the total or expected mass of a nucleus and the observed mass of the nucleus or actual mass of the nucleus, it is called mass defect and it is denoted by delta M. So delta M is equal to A minus M. If you plot a graph between mass defect on the y-axis and the mass number A on the x-axis, we get a figure as shown. Now in this particular case, we see that for all the elements having mass number 20 to mass number 110, the mass defect is positive and goes on increasing. These elements are those whose nucleus is stable. While for the elements having mass number A is equal to 110 to A is equal to 200, the mass defect is positive but it goes on decreasing. These are the elements whose nucleus is unstable. So mass defect gives us an idea about the stability of the nucleus of a particular element. Next is the packing fraction F. Packing fraction F is defined as the ratio of mass defect to the total number of nucleons present in the nucleus of an element. And total number of nucleons present in the nucleus is nothing but the mass number A, capital A. So packing fraction is also defined as the mass defect per nucleon present in the nucleus of an atom. So packing fraction is equal to mass defect divided by mass number, and if we put the values, we get F is equal to delta M divided by A, but delta M is equal to A minus M. So finally we get F is equal to A minus M divided by A. This is the variation of packing fraction with the mass number A. This is the another figure which gives the packing fraction variation with the mass number A. So what do we observe in this particular graph? The graph of variation of packing fraction with the mass number shows that for all the elements with A less than 40 and A greater than 200, the packing fraction is positive. And for all the elements with A greater than 40 and A less than 200, the packing fraction is negative. Packing fraction has the least value for an element having A is equal to 56, mass number 56, and this element is iron, which is denoted by the symbol Fe. Packing fraction is often interpreted as a measure of stability of a nucleus. Means the packing fraction gives or denotes how stable the nucleus of particular element is. If the value of packing fraction is small, it is least, then it implies that the nucleus of that particular element is more stable, and if the value of packing fraction is more, then it implies that the nucleus of that particular element is highly unstable. So from the graph, in this particular graph, we have seen that packing fraction is having the least value for element iron, Fe. Now this simply means that the iron nucleus or nucleus of an iron atom, it is more stable, it is having a more stable configuration, and if the nucleus is more stable, then there is a possibility that that particular element will be found in a large quantity in the nature. That is the reason why the element iron is abundantly found in the nature. So that's all about the properties of the nucleus. Have a nice day.